Hello there. It is Mrs. McGrath. Welcome back to Counseling Through the Chaos. I hope everybody has had a pretty good week. And if you haven't, well, you're not alone. It's been definitely some trying times around here for sure, at my own house and definitely with the people that I've been talking to. I know we're all struggling in some way. A lot of it with just the fact that we can't get out and we're missing out on those connections with the people in our lives. So I know it's been really a tough week for a lot of people. So hang in there. And in our house, we've been dealing with some agitation, frustration, irritableness, fighting, especially with my kids. So I thought that maybe we would talk a little bit about some anger management today. Now, with anger, a lot of people think that it's we call it a secondary feeling. I have a poster here that kind of shows a little bit about what that means. So this is an anger iceberg, and a lot of people, we kind of like to talk about anger in the sense that anger is like an iceberg. You know, we see this big thing sticking out, and unlike an iceberg, usually what we see with anger is not very pretty. We see the yelling and the hitting and the kicking and the screaming and the name calling. That's what we see on the surface, but really what's happening is a whole lot of other stuff underneath. Underneath the water, you know, we know that the Titanic sank because there's even bigger under the water, the part of the iceberg. But a lot of the reasons why people explode in anger is because of the underlying feelings and circumstances that happen. So, for example, feeling guilty, feeling insecure, disappointed, helpless, worried, jealousy, overwhelmed, tired, loneliness, if someone's annoyed or frustrated. A lot of those types of feelings are compounding on top, and what we end up seeing is the actual anger behavior, seeing and hearing it. So with anger, it's really important to try and look past the behavior and find out the inner reasons why. The inner reasons why. Why are you seeing this? Why are you hearing this? And it's usually not just because I'm mad. It's something else. So I wanted to read a story with you today. It's one that I don't really read a lot in therapy, but it's a newer one, and I just thought it was a really great example of maybe the feelings that we might have right now. And it's called Maya Was Grumpy. It's written and illustrated by Courtney Pippin Mather, and it is a scholastic story. Here's the full covers. It's a Scholastic book, so I did order it on Scholastic. Here's the title page. And let's find out what happens to Maya. Maya was grumpy. She didn't know why she was grumpy. She was just in a crispy, cranky, grumpy, grouchy mood. Yeah, sometimes we just wake up feeling that way. We don't really necessarily always know why at that time. She didn't want to read or color or eat banana chips or wear her favorite shorts or go outside and play. The only thing Maya wanted to do was grouch around the house and share her bad mood. lot of times it seems that when we have those powerful, grumpy, grouchy, irritated feelings, we have that energy, we just want to get it out. She grumped into Grandma's room and snarled at the cat. She just stretched and went back to sleep. She glumped into the living room and made faces at the birds. They just flew away. She's really not getting attention for her grumpiness, that's for sure. She clumped into the kitchen and grumbled at her brothers. They just glopped their food around. Finally, Maya thumped up behind Grandma and growled as loudly as she could. Feeling a bit grumpy today? Grandma asked. Maya just scowled. Well then, said Grandma, I guess that means no hunting for hippos after breakfast. I never hunt for hippos, Maya grouched. And no putting your head in a crocodile's mouth before lunch. That's just silly, Maya grumbled. Bathing baby elephants would probably be a bad idea today if you're grumpy, Grandma said. And Maya rolled her eyes. So Grandma's staying pretty calm. She's trying to kind of maybe distract her a little bit. Certainly no tickling tarantulas until they giggle, Grandma added. Maya shook her head. A tingle in her belly tickled all the way up to her mouth, but she squeezed her lips into a tight line. I did have plans to slide down the neck of a giraffe later, Grandma explained, but I guess we could reschedule. Maya felt a wiggle reach the corners of her frown. And definitely no swinging with monkeys today if you're grumpy. A bubbly giggle escaped through Maya's lips. Swinging with monkeys might be nice, she said. And she gave Grandma a big hug. Grandma packed a snack and fixed Maya's hair. Then they all went outside to find the hippos, crocodiles, elephants, tarantulas, giraffes, and monkeys. And Maya felt much better. The end. So the reason why I like Maya was grumpy is because, sometimes it's very obvious things that make us grumpy or angry in our lives, but then sometimes we just wake up and we're just not having a really great day. Things maybe just don't seem to feel right. We're human. Our feelings can fluctuate a lot, We've got, lack of sleep, or, maybe you haven't had enough hydration. Maybe there's just something you're dealing with, a loss in your life and that you're going through, or a rough time. And our moods, they can change. This is for kids, teens, and adults. So sometimes we just wake up and we just really, we're just kind of blah. So the thing that I like about Maya is that she reminds us of this. And then also the fact that she's trying to grump around and share that grumpiness. And one thing that happens, the first thing that happens in the story is the things she grumps at, ignore her. They're not feeding into the anger or the grumpiness. So that's really important to kind of ignore, if you can, some of that angry behavior. The other thing that I like about the story is that Grandma, she stays very calm. And that is one of the hardest things to do, especially as a parent, is to stay calm. Or if you're a sibling and the younger sibling is angry and attacking you or breaking your things or calling you names, it's really hard to keep that composure. But Grandma keeps her composure. Another thing she does is she uses humor and silliness to kind of help get Maya to smile. And really, ultimately, maybe what Maya needed was just a little bit of love and attention. She gives her a hug. And even though she's grumpy and she's in a bad mood, she's like, let's go. Let's change this environment we're in. Let's go and try to do something. Get yourself moving. They go to the playground. Use our imagination. Try and not necessarily distract, but to help overcome some of the grumpy feelings. Because if you just sit there and you constantly are thinking about the grumpiness, the anger, the sadness, and you just sit there and you do nothing, you're just going to waller in your bad emotion. So there's a lot of really great, very simple examples in this story of how children, teens, adults, we can all handle and handle not only our own mood changes, but handle the changes in others. So it's a really good book. And some other tools that I wanted to show you today in regards to anger or any type of feelings management, especially if you have younger kids. One thing to do is, this is a picture of just a body outline, is talking about where in our bodies do we feel that emotion, where do you feel like expressing that emotion when you're upset. So when you're angry, do you use your hands to hit and throw things? Do you feel like you want to scream with your mouth? When you're sad, do you feel it like in your heart? Sometimes when we're very sad, even our chest hurts. So talking about the physical signs of feelings and how our bodies change is really important, because thoughts, feelings, they are all connected. And if you are feeling stressed and angry, our bodies will change. Physical symptoms are red flags for emotional dysregulation. So if your heart is just racing and you're breathing up here, you need to slow down and get the breath through the stomach and start to try and work on those physical symptoms before you can go back and calm down the mental part of it as well. So thinking and feeling are connected. Mind, physical, body, all connected. So with the little ones, it's important to talk about that. Where are you feeling that in your body? Is your mouth dry because you're nervous? Are your hands sweaty because you're worried? Physical symptoms to emotion, very important. Another thing that is important with feelings, whether it's anxiety or anger, is to, this is something called what pushes your buttons. It's a little checklist, and you can make your own, or you just can make a list for yourself or your child. And it's things that really cause you to feel upset. Is it because Maya didn't get a lot of sleep last night in the story? Is it because someone ignored you? Is it that you felt left out? What are reasons for the feeling? And that can help you as well to problem solve. So if you're feeling alone, what are things you can do besides getting angry and screaming at everyone. What's a better solution? Some other tools that I like to use that are very simple, you don't necessarily have to have anything fancy, that can help us to measure our anger or measure our feelings. I thought I had another one here. Yes, I do. Is to use a temperature gauge or a scale of some sort. So just like we would measure the temperature outside, maybe, or using a scale from 0 to 10. I do this all the time with my kiddos. We measure or we rate where we are on a scale with our feelings or our self-esteem today, our worry, just like you would be measuring rainfall or measuring the temperature. So you can use a very simple diagram of a thermometer with just the numbers. So, this might represent very low self-esteem. A 5 would be kind of in the middle self-esteem, how I feel about myself. And a 10 is like the grandiose, I'm king of the world, So where do we really want to be on a scale of self-esteem? Same thing, you can use this with any emotion as well. Here's one that I have actually colored, and it says, what's my emotional temperature? And I've used colors to show, put this on the back of it because it's kind of glaring, I apologize. So I used a kind of a calming green, up to yellow, to orange, to red, and to black. So it goes into being excited. It doesn't have to be negative emotion either. Into kind of that, I'm kind of irritated, I'm agitated, and then this is that explosive, really dangerous zone. And you can, have your child rate where they are. You can use this for yourself if you're an adult or a teacher in your classroom to assess, hey, where are my students at today? Not right now because all of our students are at home, but it's a good measuring tool. It's a self-regulation tool. Well, today I'm coming into class right here. Okay, tell me what happened this morning that is causing you maybe to feel this way, and I can help you through that. So if you use this on a regular basis and you check in often, your kiddo is going to be able to identify much faster when they are actually up here and say to you, I'm here. You can't just all of a sudden when they're upset, okay, where are you? You have to use it and practice with it. How would you feel? Where would you be if your ice cream fell off your cone? Oh, I'd be up here. I'd be really mad. Yeah, that would be terrible. So these are just other ways of expressing and measuring our feelings. The one on the back is an anger gauge. I think I found this one. It was free online. And it goes from calm to upset, annoyed, angry, furious to the below my top range. And this is the area we want to stay out of, because when we are in the below my top range, what I tell my students is, at that point, you're no longer in control of your choices. Someone else has to take control because you're out of control. So as long as we can stay between green, yellow, and orange, you're able to problem solve. And you know what? We can be frustrated and upset or annoyed or agitated. That's okay. We'll find solutions, acknowledge, first of all, how we feel, and we can find some solutions to get our anger gauge or our feelings monitor back down to where we're feeling a little bit better. Okay? So what are some ways that you can do that? So once, I have my kid telling me where they are, or once maybe I'm realizing I don't want to keep blowing my top and I'm going from 0 to boom, what can I do? So a lot of people constantly ask me this. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Well, a lot of times it depends on your own personality. One of the things I like to do with kids is also discuss the wheel of control, how there are only things that you can control yourself, and then there's things outside of you that you cannot. And coping strategies or resiliency skills is a good term, are the things that you can do to control yourself. What can I do to keep myself from exploding, okay, or giving control away? Things outside of that, getting angry about it, getting stressed about it, is just taking away my personal energy. So that's also another way of kind of explaining taking your control back by using these skills or these coping mechanisms. So some things that I like to do, I personally like to color. Some people like to draw to express themselves. These are some that some of my students have made over. Also, this is really cool. I love to use stickers. This is a paint by sticker activity book. You use the stickers and they have numbers. It's like a stained glass. Stickers are very, this is an adult version of it or a teen version of it, but you can make art by using the stickers. It comes like this and has a packet with it. So this is kind of a neat idea. Drawing, coloring, painting, using putties, reading. I love to use essential oils to create a calming atmosphere. Some other ideas are focusing on your breathing, making sure that you're not breathing from here, because breathing from here is not a good thing. That's going to cause more stress. Breathing from the lower belly. Talking about the problem. You can make I have this little flip chart that has different ideas for individuals. Sometimes squeezing things or playing in sand or with toys or blocks. Changing the scenery, just like what Maya did in the story. Go outside and play for a little while. Just take a break from what you're doing. If it's bothering you, get up from it and go somewhere else so you can cool down, think more clearly, walk away from it for a little while. There's nothing wrong with taking a break. Writing, exercise. Now, incorporating exercise and movement into your day, whether it's stretching, yoga, taking a walk, anything that you do, even if it's, cardio for 30 minutes, treadmill, anything that you do that's physical is automatically going to increase your amount of tolerance level. So it just is a natural way for us to exhaust ourselves so that we're not getting as agitated. Music, it's a really good idea for some people. If you can hear my rain sounds in the background. Sometimes we need to take some self-care, and we need to maybe look at what's on our plate, and maybe we need to put something on our plate that's for us, like a hobby, something that we can connect to, and then maybe something needs to go off of the plate or someone else can have responsibility for it for a while so that you're taking care of you. So this is a little flip book. You can create these with your own pictures of ideas that you have, your kids have. You can create those, you could draw them, list them out. So really, ways that help us are all different. Everybody is a different person, and you have to find what works for you. And remember that everyone gets upset and frustrated. Everyone wakes up and there's going to be bad days sometimes, but bad days and bad things that happen do not mean that you're a bad human. It just means that you're going through the junk that life throws at us. And unfortunately, a lot of it happens all at once, it seems like. So don't give up, and remember to take care of yourself and give yourself some compassion, to make mistakes and to learn from them, and that tomorrow is a new day and we can all continue to get through this together. All right, I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.